Hello, Karen. Thank you for spending some time with us today. So, perhaps you could tell us, what do you do at Bay Legal?
I help execute departments to ensure the work is getting completed for the staff and for the clients. I wanted to join Bay Legal for the growth and development that is allowed at the firm. When I interviewed with Jason, he stated that it was an up and coming firm and there was a lot of room for growth, which there has been. I mean, I think everybody has some concerns no matter what you're jumping into in life being new. So, my concern was, would I be able to juggle my home and work life balance, right? Because of being a mom of five children and my shift working from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time because the firm works from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. So, that was one of my concerns when I started with the firm. I think one of the things that surprised me is how efficient we can be being a remote law firm. The only firms that I've ever worked in were specific to a brick and mortar type of building. So, how we can get a case to flow from start to finish being a remote firm without ever having to meet a client. I was a little timid at first because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be on camera. What if I forget to shut my camera off? If I have to sneeze or I'm eating? All those sorts of things run through your head, right? So I think the biggest thing is you kind of forget about it. So you kind of just start working and put it off to the side. And it's been more for a collaboration. So it's nice to be able to jump in a room with somebody and have a discussion on something, kind of like you would walk into somebody's office, but without having to feel like you're intruding because everybody is ready to be accessible for you. That is correct. That is something we strive to do extremely well with the team and ensure that we're getting to know everybody as a person. Coming from one of the manager positions, I find it enjoyable starting to learn what drives people besides just work. Everybody has to work for a paycheck. So getting to know what drives them on a personal level, I think will also help manage who they are as a person. Absolutely. I feel that the environment alone allows that relationship. So the collaboration is used to ensure that we're working together to get an end result on something versus it just being split into a team and then each person go into their office and get the work done. We do collaborate a lot on any projects that occur. So it has allowed us to build those relationships with everybody within the firm, depending upon what you're working on. I would describe it as supportive and that there isn't anybody on the team that you can't go to for assistance, no matter what portion of the firm you work in. I feel there's always a point of contact and somebody willing to stop what they're doing to teach or reteach or educate you on what you need to do your job correctly and have fulfillment in doing it at the same time. It depends on the day. Some days you come in and you feel like you're going to be able to tackle everything that's thrown at you for the day that you think you're going to accomplish, and then something happens. So it's never predictable of what can and can't happen in the workday. There's always something that seems to throw your day off in a sense, but the entire team does come around to get a complete answer to a client or a complete answer to the opposing party or help move the case along if something needs to be drafted. There's a lot of moving pieces that a lot of people jump in to ensure gets done from several departments throughout the firm. There's a few people that inspire me. I think everyone in their own way actually does. And I know people are probably going to say that, well, that's crazy that you have 30 something staff employees with you. But the drive in almost everybody we work with is unmatchable from any place I've ever worked. I want to say the three people that I look up to here would first one would be Amy. She's constantly, no matter what we throw at her, in a good mood. You would never know what she's working on behind the scenes because she never shows it. The second one would be Chris. She is definitely somebody who has a poker face. I tell her all the time that she should go play poker because, again, she's someone who is handling a lot of stuff behind the scenes and making it so things move without people knowing things are moving, right? She's that quiet behind the scenes, get stuff done type of mentality. So the third person would be Jason, and that comes down to working side by side with him and seeing some of the things that he has in his head that he wants to develop and have the team develop and become part of is inspiring, because you have a lot of owners from any business you've ever worked in that have the ideas but doesn't allow the team to incorporate them and help develop them into what they are. So I would want to say the exact moment keeps coming, right? Like there hasn't been one moment that has been, oh my God, I love this position. And it's not moved since that point. I want to say the first time I realized it would probably be 3 weeks into employment with Jason. And it was really knowing that he trusted in me to take what I knew and develop it and make it work without having him micromanaging me. I will say since then, it happens probably about every 2 to 3 weeks because of the new things we're tackling and knowing that we're accomplishing more. So it continuing throughout my work life so far here at Bay Legal has been a breath of fresh air, because most places that you work don't allow you to develop not only professionally, but personally as well. So I think it's an open environment to allow you to bloom in every way possible. Absolutely. I think that's one of the best things about the firm is there is no cap on how much we can grow or how much you're able to develop personally to become the best version of yourself. I think the entire team around us is a positive environment to allow you to be you without having to change to fit into a culture that we've created. It's really enjoying the person that's joining the team. I think the person that would thrive, and I hate to put a category on it, but I just think somebody who's wanting to develop their own skills. So really developing who they are professionally and knowing where they want to go with that, right? And that changes sometimes. And I think that's a lot of the reasons a lot of people will shift from position to position to position because they're not allowed to grow into who they ultimately are. At the firm, there's a lot of people who are cross-trained from different departments to ensure that one, you don't get bored with what you're doing, but you're also challenging yourself mentally to take on something new. I think when you get into a role and you do the same thing over and over and over again, you get kind of bored with what you do and you're not being challenged. So I do think at Bay Legal, we allow everybody to challenge themselves to their limits versus just pushing them to be something they might not want to be. Show up, put in the time, right? Tell us what pushes you to be the best employee that we can give you as far as tools to allow you to do your job on a day-to-day basis, and really knowing how to develop the role you're in. I tell the staff, I think more times than they like to hear, that they are the ones working in the seats daily. If something is not working, I need to have that information from them in order to help them make it better and increase revenue or increase sales or increase the phone calls that they receive or increase the workload they're doing to be able to be handled adequately and efficiently. So we're all about quality over quantity. So a lot of people come in and expect to come through the doors and take 100 calls in their first 3 days. That's not the situation. The situation is going to be, we want you to take 5 calls, but make those 5 calls effective and efficient versus going through 100 calls. So really knowing and honing in on your skills to develop to answer those calls completely from beginning to end. And that's just on the intake side. The office side is a completely different skill set. So it's really knowing where you fit within the firm. And there are times that we will hire for a specific role, but once somebody starts with us, you really see that they might fit elsewhere. And we will transition them into that role, obviously, with conversation with them. And most times out of 10, I want to say 9 out of 10 times, it's a fit based on where we see them during training. I love working at Bay Legal because the entire team that is behind us is efficient and effective on guiding you through a day. I enjoy working with a firm to ensure that we're helping clients be successful in their cases. I enjoy working with experts because it allows me to train and develop staff to help other law firms do what we do on a day-to-day basis.